Something to believe in. Something to believe in.
Hi everyone, Anita Goa here. I'm in SoHo and I'm about to interview celebrity yoga teacher Elena Brower, who is the founder and co-owner of ViraYoga. Elena teaches Anusara yoga and has a huge following here in New York City as well as around the world. And I'm very excited to talk to her about yoga, about teaching, about being a yogi and being a mom, and have her talk about some of her working out. So I hope you enjoy. Come on in.
Anusara is a method that unifies an all-encompassing awareness of the goodness that lies in every single one of our hearts and minds and bodies, with a very precise set of alignment principles that once applied in the body, they're called the universal principles of alignment. There are 5. And once they're applied in the body, the level of steadfastness that is cultivated in the foundation of each of these poses yields an experience that is ever expanding, so that when you apply these principles and you create such a steady foundation, the rest of the pose opens and never stops opening. That is breathtaking. And the way that it applies in life, the relevance and the pertinence to how we behave and how we carry ourselves in any context, is so impactful. A yoga practice is not just the postures. A yoga practice is the way in which we conduct ourselves in any circumstance, in any environment. So if you're coming to a mat and you're practicing postures and you're having an experience of such wholeness and fullness in your body on the mat, and then you go into a situation and you're just a reactive mess, you're not practicing yoga. You're doing the asanas. You're having an experience, but you're not taking the yoga into your life. The pertinence of the practice of yoga on your mat is how you take it into a context that is deeply challenging to you. Deeply, on every level, challenging all of your assumptions and opinions. And so to take this practice, this triangle pose that ever expands, it makes me feel like I have this boundaryless, open, wide heart. And take that into a moment when somebody is standing in front of me and I'm freaking out, trying to answer a question or be for somebody what I can't be. To take that pose, that expansion into this moment and say, get big enough to be able to say, you know what, I don't know the answer. I am so sorry, I don't know the answer. Or I can help you in this way, but not quite in that way. Without sitting there wishing that I could and then projecting some false idea that I can be something that I really can't be, which creates a conflict not just in me, but in everything around me. For me, that's the relevance of the actual postures translating into the yoga of living. This practice, very interestingly, now that I'm a parent, and it goes for anything, any creative endeavor, even if you're not a parent, anything. It gives us another opening into some other possibility of behavior and comport that would have never been seen. To be on the mat and have this experience of an ever-expanding pose, and to then take that into a challenging situation, be able to look somebody in the eyes and just receive them whole, without judging them, is something that I'm always going to be working on, but I am definitely getting better at it because of this practice. There's no question. And I have a 3.5-year-old. That relationship that I'm making with him is based on honesty, and even when I mess up, even when I'm reactive, I can look him in the eyes and I can say, Jonah, I am so sorry. I was way too sharp just now, and I'm really sorry. He's learning how to be apologetic. He's learning what it means to do something that he maybe shouldn't have done, and turn to somebody and look them in the eyes and say, you know what, I'm sorry about that. And this, I don't know that I would have ever known that had I not had these experiences of such expansion in my physical body that I can then take them into a situation and say, okay, I am so sorry. Right now, you know, I need to take a minute. Whatever it is, it's a pause. It's a wholeness that each of us has that we may not be aware of without this yoga. My own practice is varied. I love to come to classes at my studio, but I don't always get to. That's an hour and a half out of a day when I have this very limited amount of time before I pick up my child at school. So sometimes I'll take class, maybe once every 2 weeks I get to a full-length class, and then mostly it's either early in the morning or late at night in the dark, in the quiet, when I am practicing for 20 or 30 minutes according to what my body needs, according to what the moment calls for, whatever it is. If it's too late, I won't do back bends. If it's too early, maybe I won't do too many forward bends because I'm exhausted and I actually need to stimulate some stuff in my body to wake up. More back bends required. Like that. And very often if my son is around, he'll just be climbing all over me and you know, joining me in some of the poses and then just laying underneath me. It's a very sweet time. Most of the time, whenever you roll out a yoga mat, if there's a child or an animal in the room, they will be on that mat with you. I love that.
That's great.
I love it so much. It's so nice. I don't have a particular philosophy regarding food. What I have is my intuition. And so as I get older, I'm learning how to respect it and listen to it. I've been a vegetarian, I've been a vegan, I have been a total carnivore. So somewhere in between, and especially as a mom wanting to bring up a child who's pretty well versed in all different kinds of food, somewhere in between is where I lie right now. In acupuncture, what I've learned is that my constitution actually requires a little more hot food than I would have normally thought was beneficial for me. So, you know, I'm discovering things about myself that I never knew. Most recently, I have found that I do best without meat, actually. But when I was pregnant, when I was breastfeeding, I wanted meat, I needed iron, that's what I wanted, and I took it in. You know, now I don't do a whole bunch of dairy. When I was pregnant and when I was breastfeeding, I wanted dairy, I needed calcium, I took it in. So it's really, for me, I guess if you were to say if I had a philosophy, listen is my philosophy. Listen to your body and know what you need is being dictated to you by your physical body in any moment. If you're not listening, you will not know, you will do the wrong thing, your body will give you that little alarm clock and tell you, okay, thank you, but no thank you. We are all yogis. Every single one of us, not one of us is left out. Every one of us. Deep within our hearts lies the yogi. It's up to us if we are going to veil this being or if we are going to let this being arise. So there have been several moments in my life when I have opted to completely hide this yogi from the world and cover it with all sorts of things, from substances to behaviors and on. And then there are these moments where finally I can let go of all of these kind of detrimental details, detritus, and just serve. Every single one of us has this person inside of us that can totally serve and totally be there for our families, for our colleagues, for any creative endeavor that we have. We're all there. Are we going to let it out? Or are we going to keep it inside and just hide it from the world? I'm a total lover. And I'm also really, really silly. The word monkey comes to mind as the other descriptive, but I think I'll stick with silly.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Let's Go. Till the next episode, make sure that you find your own flow and flow with it. Namaste.